How the hell did we play this game in 2016? This is the classic Overwatch experience. That's right. This is actually the Quinston. It's 5 Winstons and a Lucio. You'll never catch them because they're super fast. They've got so many barriers, and they will delete you from the game. And yeah, what an experience. All right, what we're going to do in this video is break down Classic and break down its impact on the game and what is actually going on here and what Blizzard is trying to achieve. So what is this? It is Classic Overwatch from the day of launch with some changes. So we know that the maps have not been reverted back to their old state. Okay, we can kind of let Blizzard off a little bit for that. You also do not get the old UI. Now, it would be awesome if you did. I still think the old UI is better. Now, I know this is like boomer style talking. The old UI has got charm. It feels like a game UI, not some sterile like graphic design project, which is basically what the Overwatch 2 UI looks like. It's not great. Although, hilariously, remember they changed the Overwatch 2 menu text or font or typeface, I guess we should call it, back to the old style, because it used to be this really bland style back when Overwatch 2 launched. But anyway, yeah, for Classic, it would have been nice to have seen the old UI. It would have been nice to see things like the old on-fire mechanic as well. Even bring back the medal system at the end of the game. That would have been cool to see. Even bring back the card system. That would have felt actually incredible if they did that. However, also, and it must be said as well, you can still ping in this version of the game, like, which obviously you couldn't do back in OG Overwatch. I mean, that's an Overwatch 2 innovation. But apart from all of those things, it's essentially Overwatch balance from the day Overwatch launched. Now, there are other little things, like Roadhog's hook isn't really back to the state it used to be at, because this thing would hook you from across, literally. I mean, the joke is it would hook you on Lijiang Tower if you're on King's Row. It was insane. It doesn't feel like that to me, so it doesn't quite feel the same. You can do stuff like Genji ledge boosting and stuff like that, which is kind of cool to see, because that was all old tech from back in the day. But yeah, this is the experience we had in 2016 when the game officially launched. Are you enjoying it? This is Morgan Madron. He is a server engineer on Overwatch and has tweeted this. A whole lot of Overwatch Classic being played right now with the old looking eyes emoji. Then somebody actually asked him, can you give us numbers? And he went, no. I mean, they're never going to give you numbers. They'll probably be in breach of their employment contract and get fired. But yeah, the fact that they're even tweeting about it is showing there's a ton of interest for this. And this begs the question, doesn't it? What actually was the point of this Classic? Because this isn't... When people ask for Overwatch Classic, they're not asking for launch Overwatch, right? Let's just get that straight out of the gates here. They're not saying, I want to play Overwatch how it was the day it launched, with no hero limits, with insane team comps, totally broken heroes, and heroes that are just not playable. Like, D.Va was not playable at this point in the game. She was horrifically bad. Winston was pretty good. Widow was pretty good. Mei was pretty good. Like, so there's a bunch of heroes that are really strong. Lucio, if you go and try his wall riding, you're probably like, what is going on here? It's very janky. Or if you play Roadhog and you try and take a breather, you stand still. It doesn't feel very fluid. That's what it was. It was clunky. Now, the whole point of this event, this Classic 3 weeks, is, I think, firstly, to see if people are interested in going back to checking out how Overwatch used to be. But secondly, they're giving us snapshots of how the game used to be. So the first week is this. It's Launch Edition Overwatch. Go and play on... we can play on the 2CP maps, the Assault maps. Playing on Volskaya, it brings back memories. I had a great game with Junkrat on the map. Temple of Anubis, just everyone playing Widowmaker. Yeah, again, great memories. But next week, we're going to go into the Moth meta. So there'll be new heroes, or I guess old heroes, or new heroes added. But basically, we'll be taking up to that meta. Which obviously was famous for Mercy and all kinds of things. And then after that, we're going to go into Goat's meta, which is going to be interesting to see, because that's going to kind of be a fairly modern version of Overwatch 1. Obviously, it's still going to be Overwatch 1. It's still going to be 6v6. This leads me on to my other point. This is not the 6v6 test. A lot of people have been saying, oh, this is terrible. 6v6 is horrible. It makes no sense. Well, yeah, because this is launch Overwatch. The game, I hate to say it, was not great at launch. It was fun, and the nostalgia has been incredible. Playing this mode, I have felt like those feelings, like when you first open the game and it plays the Overwatch intro with Winston, and then you've got like, it's so good. The music as well, all those memories come back, and it was a great time to play Overwatch. It was new territory. We'd never played this game before. And that's kind of part of the story here. You haven't played the game before, right? So you don't know what the heroes do. So it doesn't really matter about meta, team comps, any of that stuff. You don't even know about the way the maps work. You're not even sure how like the game modes function. So you're just picking a hero and playing that hero because you enjoy them. And that kept you going for weeks back then, and probably even months before they started making changes. Of course, there was no competitive mode when the game launched. That came a bit later. The original version of competitive back in the beta was you had to have an entire team. So it was 6v6. You couldn't solo queue it. They made changes. Everyone remembers the infamous coin flip, which came later. But yeah, basically, this is launch Overwatch. So it's not the Overwatch that people want when they say, I wonder what 6v6 will look like. Now, we do know a 6v6 test is happening, or multiple tests are happening next season, where Blizzard are going to see if they can actually make it work in the new Overwatch engine through making some balance changes to the heroes. So that's going to be interesting to see if that actually works out. Because there is one thing to be said. When there are two tanks playable, if you're a tank player, it does feel like you've got your partner in crime back almost. It feels like Overwatch used to feel. This classic version of the game doesn't, by the way, because it's just obviously everyone can play any hero. There's no hero limits. There's no role queue. And I'm always going to say that role queue did make the game better. Whatever people want to think, role queue made the game better. You do not want to play Overwatch, I'm telling you now, guys, without role queue, because that would be terrible. Without hero limits as well, by extension of role queue, because you don't want 5 Winstons and a Lucio. Like, that's not what you want, trust me. But I do feel we have lost something, losing that tank, right? That tank dynamic, the main tank, the off tank. You know, I want to see how that manifests itself in current day Overwatch. But anyway, classic. What I want to do is just talk about all of this and kind of give it a review, right? So, like I said, the 6v6 element is not being tested, right? Ignore that. This is just a snapshot in time as to how Overwatch used to be. With some caveats, like I said, the UI is the new UI. You've still got the ping system. Some heroes are not totally back to how they used to be. There are little changes like that. But overall, it does give you a good impression. So I do think the devs have done a pretty bang-up job when it comes to the whole package. It does feel like classic Overwatch. Do I want to play this version of Overwatch forever? Do I hell? No way. After a week, that's going to be enough, right? Enough. A week is more than enough. We'll be fine with that. And like I said, we're going to move on to another meta, which is the Moth meta. Then we'll move on to another meta, which is the Goats meta, and then the event will end. I think the takeaways will be, are a lot of people interested in this? You know, I went out on a limb in one of my recent videos and said it would be really cool if they almost co-developed a 6v6 version of Overwatch. I'm not talking Overwatch 2, of Overwatch, where they're kind of asking and answering the question, what if? What if they didn't make the decisions that they made? But what happens if they go back to that Overwatch time before Anna, but with a more modern take, right? So we don't have unlimited heroes. We've got hero limits. We've got role queue. We've got those kind of systems that we're used to now. Systems like the ping system as well. I would like it if they brought back the on-fire system, and I would like it if they brought back the voting cards. The medal system was terrible. I want the score screen from Overwatch 2, but the voting cards at the end just made it feel fun like a game. It'd be cool if that came back, and then they went forward and started making changes and balancing the game in its own direction. That would be kind of like a big what if. And to me, that's what an Overwatch Classic could and probably should be. It shouldn't be what we're playing now. No illusions. I'm not asking for that, because what we're playing now is like, you can see how far the game has come with development. Even if you ignore everything that happened in Overwatch 2, if you look at the time span from 2016 up until 2020, well, I guess 2022 when Overwatch 2 launched, or was it 21 in October? I don't even know when it was. Whenever it was when Overwatch 2 launched, that time span there's been a ton of development of the game. There's a lot of quality of life changes as well, which you just don't get in this original launch version of the game. So what are they going to do if this actually works out and people do want to play these kind of classic snapshots of Overwatch 2? Now, like I said in the video, yeah, I'd like a standalone client and all that stuff, but that's probably pie in the sky. Most likely what this will be is it's almost like a great... It's like an event they can hold. It's like, it feels like the Archives event in a way, in that we can go back in time and they actually look like they can faithfully recreate these moments in time, and then we can experience them. Now, this only really appeals to the players of Overwatch 1. The Overwatch 2 players, and by the way, you can tell who these guys are because they totally don't know how things used to work in Overwatch 1. And also, you can go on the internet and see some people really moaning and going, this is really bad. Why haven't we got role queue? Why haven't we got this and that? And it's like, yeah, guys, because this is how it was. Back in my day, it was like this, lads, and it was an experience. So yeah, you can kind of tell those players off a mile. Anyway, Overwatch Cavalry threw this tweet up, which is taken from an interview that Aaron Keller has done. And basically, they may do other bits and pieces. So Aaron Keller hinted at Overwatch Classic event inspired potentially by the game's pre-launch, which could bring back like Bastion with his shield and the OG remote mine ultimate. Now, I don't remember the remote mine actually being in the beta. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but the shield definitely was. Right? So the shield Bastion was just broken beyond belief. I mean, the Bastion in the classic version right now in the game doesn't move, but the damage when he's in sentry mode is just insane. Like, the turret damage is insane, because that's how it was. But he used to have a shield before because, yeah, they replaced the shield with a self-heal, which, to be honest, is trash. The self-heal doesn't really do much for Bastion. You'll just get annihilated. But yeah, whatever. So it's kind of cool that this could be something we see in the future. I just want to end this video with a thanks. I mean, I am thankful that they've actually let us experience this again, because it was a special time in my gaming, and I'll be real, in my work life as well. I never really knew what was happening when I was making those videos way back in 2016, but it did change my life. And, like, you know, I'm always aware of that, and I'm aware of the impact it's had on me. So to be able to go back and sample that again in a fairly accurate format and everything they've done, it's really cool. It does feel really, really cool. And there are other moments in time that I would like to go back and experience. And maybe we do get to experience them going forward. I think this has been a success, guys. I mean, the success will be in the numbers, right? Have people been playing it? We'll have to wait and see. But as we said, one of the devs does seem to say that, yeah, a lot of people have been playing Classic. So I hope it's been successful, and I hope it carries on. And I do like the fact that they've got these weekly updates to completely different metas, because that's going to make people come back and check it out. Maybe you don't like launch Overwatch. And spoiler alert, nobody likes launch Overwatch for the way it's played. It's just the nostalgia value of it, and you can see how horrendously broken it is. But the devs very quickly moved on and changed that anyway when the game was live. But we're going to go much further forward to the Moth meta. We'll get to experience all of that. And then we go forward still to the Goats meta, which is, I guess we can say, the final meta of Overwatch. It wasn't technically, but it basically was the final meta. And you're going to get things like Brig being able to shield bash through barriers and stun. So if you're a Reinhardt player, get ready to be stunned into oblivion and destroyed. In fact, even in the version of the game that's live right now in Classic, the Cassidy flashbang fan the hammer combo just deleted tanks, because you just flashbang them, fan the hammer, 70 damage per shot, and then roll, which instantly reloads, and then just do it again, and the tanks are dead. You are deleting tanks from the game. Oh, also as well, there's no self-heal, is there, in Classic Overwatch? And I don't know whether I prefer that or not. There's also other things as well, right? I could go off on a mad tangent here, and we could talk about mad stuff, but, like, you can see the lack of healing. In Classic Overwatch, you've got Mercy, you've got Lucio, you've got, Zen. You've got Sim. Sim ain't going to be healing. She gives you shields, but there's not much healing out there on the field. And generally, and I'm seeing this a lot in the games that I've been playing, people just play DPS or they play tanks. Right? You might have one support if you're lucky. That's just how it was. But you die in this game, and you have to be careful, because if you take damage, especially if you're playing a Cassidy and you're not playing Soldier 76 who can heal himself, you're just sort of like, well, I need to find the nearest health pack. And if you don't, you're going to get punished for it. And I just think it's really cool to see that. And sometimes it's like, is that better, or is self-heal better? But I tell you this, if you go and play Overwatch 2 now, you'll really enjoy self-heal because it keeps you in the fight longer, and that's all they're kind of, I guess, trying to do. But yeah, interesting stuff, I think. All right, guys, thank you for watching the video. Let me know what your Classic experience has been so far. I am very interested in your comments if you played OG Overwatch. And I'd assume a lot of you guys watching this video probably have, because I'm not some new wave Zoomer spamming out 1 billion TikToks every day with some insane crap about Overwatch. So I don't have that audience, really, but I know a lot of you guys are generally OG. I want to know what you think. I also want to know what you think as well if you're not OG and, you know, you just play Overwatch and you happen to have come across this video. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. I've been Stylosa, and yeah, you can catch me on everything, which is @Stylosa. And I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. See you soon.